So in our new Blackboard templates, for each level, Math Fundamentals 1, Fundamentals 2, Math Application, and Test Prep, we have created a final practice test that is attached to the template. So what I have opened right now is my Math Test Prep course content. So within our Blackboard, I opened my course content, and this is available. Now, this is available with every template. Every template is going to have 4 modules and a final folder that houses the final practice test. This final practice test is a Blackboard test, which means you will have to download it and then import it into your classroom, into Test, so that you can use it for your class. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open the folder, and you'll see that there is a file. You want to click on this file, and it will say download is happening, and then you would click the button if it didn't. You can save it to any location that you want. I'm now saving it. And this is what you have to do in order to utilize these Blackboard tests. They have been created, they were exported as zip files, and now your job is to download that zip file and import it into your computer or into your classroom. So the next thing you're going to want to do is, it is now downloaded, as you can tell right here. What I want to do is I want to create a tab or a space in my class so that my students know exactly where to find their test. So what I'll do is I'll come here to where the plus sign is. I'll click Content Area. I want to name it Test. I do want to make it available for my students to see after it's completed. So I'm going to hit Submit. Now you'll notice that you do have a test section. It was marked unavailable. Click this. There we go. I'm going to move it up here. I'm going to just push it right there. So I want to go ahead and click on it. Now, once I click on it, you'll notice that you have 3 items, or a couple of items: build a content, an assessment, a tool. It's like, what do you want to do with this tab? What I want to do is I want to hit the assessments. And if I click test, you'll notice that there are, well, this should not be there. And this should not be there. So just for our examples, let's assume that these are not needed or these are not there. So what we want to do is we can create a test, but we want to use that downloaded test. So what we have to do next is import that test from our computer into our Blackboard classroom. So what we do is we come here to Course Tools. You would come here to the bottom where it says Test. Click on it. And you'll see you have tests, surveys, or polls. You want to click on Tests. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be importing our final Test 4 test, our Test Prep class test that we just downloaded. So we want to click on Import, and we want to click on Browse Files. So we're going to look on our computer for it. Now, I put mine in Downloads, so I go to Downloads, and I look for that zip file, and I say, oh, there it is. Now, you'll notice that I have a bunch of zip files here because, I've been working on a lot of other tests, so I'm actually built these things. So I would actually click on this one because I've downloaded it. I double click it, and you'll see that there it is. I want to go ahead and import it, so I hit Submit. There it goes. You'll notice that it says the package has been processed, the log file. This says error or warnings. This is nothing to worry about. Go ahead and hit OK over here. And now you will see that this test, the Review Skills Test 4, which is the one that's located, that was in your folder that we downloaded, is now here when you click on Test. But it has not been made into the folder yet that the test, so the students can use it. You've only imported it into your class, but you have not made it accessible to students yet. So your next step is to now click on the Test tab that you created in your menu. You want to go to Assessments, hit test. Now, remember on the previous one when we did this, the only test available was the orientation and this module 1 quiz. But now we can see we have this test 4 skills test, and this is the one we want to use. So we go ahead and click on it, we hit submit. Now, it has now opened that test, and we are going to see some of the options that are available. Now, you do want to check out these options. I'm going to show you a couple of what they are. So a couple of these options, you'll see you have a couple here. It says open test in new window. You usually want to click no, because it can be quite confusing with multiple tabs opening up for students. So just leave this one as no. Do you want to make it available to students right now? Let's say yeah. Why not? Do you want to send out an assessment that says test 4 is now available? You can if you'd like. I normally don't, and I just introduce this to students in the classroom. Do you want to allow multiple attempts? Now, I do. I just want to tell you what I do as an instructor. I allow actually 2 attempts. So what I'll do is I'll put that. It says this one is unlimited. I usually put here, and then I put 2, and I'll tell you why. So what I usually do is I use these tests as learning tools, not as true assessments whether you pass or fail, but I use these as learning tools. So what I will do is maybe in week 7, I'll have them take this test. Then they'll see their performance and they'll see all the grades. They can actually review all of the test questions, and they can see which ones they've missed, which is a really cool feature. That's why I give them 2 attempts. The first attempt, see what they do, see the ones they miss, give them a chance to practice and correct their mistakes. Then give them a second opportunity to perform. Will I force the completion? I usually don't. I just give them the whole class, and I say, look, we're going to give the whole class, but in case some people need more time, then they'll have that. You can put a timer. You can do that. You can put, if you want it to come on at a certain day. I usually don't do that. I usually do it when I want it, the day of, and the time that we're using it. Another thing, too, is you want to come down here to the bottom and you say, hey, do you want to put this in the testing, in the Grade Center? And yes, you do want to put this in the Grade Center, though you have to create another tab to do that. But you do want to do this. Make sure that's clicked. And then it says, when the students submit, can they review their test? And yeah, I do that. I leave this one open and I say, do you want them to see everything, the correct ones or the submitted ones? Or do you want to just show the incorrect? I usually just show the incorrect questions. That way they'll see what was wrong on their test. Now it won't show them what the answers are, but it will show them that they got this question wrong and another opportunity to rework it. You'll notice that this button is already highlighted. Also, it says, do they want to see the test all at one time? Now, the GED test does not show all the test questions at one time. It does show them one at a time. So what I like to do is click this one at a time to get them into the idea of only focusing on one thing at a time and not having to preview or see old questions and then see the new thing also, because it can be quite confusing. Another thing here is the randomization of the questions. You can do this if they're taking the test maybe in class, and then maybe you want to randomize it so they're not looking. But most students don't want to see someone else's answers. They're really concerned about their own performance. So I usually leave this blank. I don't do that. Then I go ahead and hit submit. And now I'll see that when in my test tab, Review Skills Test 4 is highlighted. It's available, and now I can take this and say, students, go into Blackboard, click on the test tab. You'll see the test there. Please click on it. Go ahead and hit begin. And I would like you to go ahead and start with question 1. And when you're finished, you want to hit end and submit answers, and they can be complete with it. So good luck with this. If you have any trouble, please contact somebody like Mika or Victoria or Varen, and we will help you download and get this thing going correctly.